The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. African, Caribbean writers speak out. Brighter Tuition. The Power of Working with Your Child. By the best-selling author, Joan Green, CEO of Brighter Tuition. Lulwe Books. From Kenya to Britain, Nairobi to Peckham here in London. Troy Onyango, CEO of Lulwe Books. In 2016, he won the inaugural Nyanza Literary Festival prize for his short story, For What Are Butterflies Without Their Wings? Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1986, Wole Soyinka from Nigeria, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986, becoming the first African laureate. He was honoured who, in a wide cultural perspective and with a poetic overtone, fashioned the drama of existence. Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1988, Naguib Mahfouz from Egypt, received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1988 for being an author who, through works rich in nuance, now clear-sightedly realistic, now evocatively ambiguous, has formed an Arabian narrative art that applies to all mankind. Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1991, Nadine Gordimer from South Africa, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature 1991. The Nobel Committee recognized her, who through her magnificent epic writing has, in the words of Alfred Nobel, been of very great benefit to humanity. Desmond Elliott Prize 2018. Winner Derek Owusu is a writer, poet, podcaster from North London. In 2016, he joined the multi-award-winning literature podcast Mostly Lit. He's also collated and edited, contributed to Safe, on Black British Men Reclaiming Space. He is the author of That Reminds Me, which won the Desmond Elliott Prize. Kentika Prize for African Literature 2023, Kadibitri Malutsi, had just been announced as the winner of the 2023 Kandika Prize for African Literature for her story entitled Mata Taloa. The Motivator Show. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there too. The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. African, Caribbean writers speak out. Brighter Tuition. The power of working with your child. By the best-selling author, Joan Green, CEO of Brighter Tuition. Lulwe Books. From Kenya to Britain, Nairobi to Peckham here in London. Troy Onyango, CEO of Lulwe Books. In 2016, he won the inaugural Nyanza Literary Festival prize for his short story, For What Are Butterflies Without Their Wings? Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1986, Wole Soyinka from Nigeria was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986, becoming the first African laureate. He was honoured who, in a wide cultural perspective and with a poetic overtone, fashioned the drama of existence. Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1988, Naguib Mahfouz from Egypt, received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1988 for being an author who, through works rich in nuance, now clear-sightedly realistic, now evocatively ambiguous, has formed an Arabian narrative art that applies to all mankind. Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1991, Nadine Gordimer from South Africa, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature 1991. The Nobel Committee recognized her, who through her magnificent epic writing has, in the words of Alfred Nobel, been of very great benefit to humanity. Desmond Elliott Prize 2018. Winner Derek Owusu is a writer, poet, podcaster from North London. In 2016, he joined the multi-award-winning literature podcast Mostly Lit. He's also collated and edited, contributed to Safe on Black British Men Reclaiming Space. He is the author of That Reminds Me, which won the Desmond Elliott Prize. Kantika Prize for African Literature 2023. Katibitswe Malutsi has just been announced as the winner of the 2023 Kantika Prize for African Literature for her story entitled Mata Taloa. The Motivator Show. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there too. The Motivator Show. the internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. African, Caribbean writers speak out. Brighter tuition. The power of working with your child. By the best-selling author, Joan Green, CEO of Brighter Tuition. Lulwe Books. From Kenya to Britain, Nairobi to Peckham here in London. Troy Onyango, CEO of Lulwe Books. In 2016, he won the inaugural Nyanza Literary Festival prize for his short story, For What Are Butterflies Without Their Wings? Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1986, Wole Soyinka from Nigeria, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986, becoming the first African laureate. He was honoured who, in a wide cultural perspective and with a poetic overtone, fashioned the drama of existence. Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1988, Naguib Mahfouz from Egypt, received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1988 for being an author who, through works rich in nuance, now clear-sightedly realistic, now evocatively ambiguous, has formed an Arabian narrative art that applies to all mankind. Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1991, Nadine Gordimer from South Africa, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature 1991. The Nobel Committee recognized her, who through her magnificent epic writing has, in the words of Alfred Nobel, been of very great benefit to humanity. Desmond Elliott Prize 2018. Winner Derek Owusu is a writer, poet, podcaster from North London. In 2016, he joined the multi-award winning literature podcast Mostly Lit. It's also collated and edited, contributed to SAFE, on Black British men reclaiming space. He is the author of That Reminds Me, which won the Desmond Elliott Prize. Kantika Prize for African Literature 2023. Kadibitswe Malutsi has just been announced as the winner of the 2023 Kadika Prize for African Literature for her story entitled Mata Taloa. The Motivator Show. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends.
Pause that, shall we? It's the Motivator here. Let me get the right screen up. There you go. I'm now in full screen. This is the Motivator. This is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking. How are you feeling, my people? How are you feeling? I'm feeling great. I am feeling, fantastic. The energy is rising up inside me this morning. I hope you feel equally as yoked. Okay, I'll go straight into it, shall I? Go straight into it. Now, first of all, I want to give praise and respect to GalaxyAfui.net. Wonderful digital radio station. Been around for 40 years. I want to give praise, of course, to Iron King, who's taken us from night to day. And I give praise and respect and honor the GalaxyAfui.net management. They have lasted 40 years, and I look forward to another 40 years. Oh yeah, and I intend to be around for another 40 years, at least. This show, of course, goes out on many platforms. I want to emphasize that we are never standing still. We will create new anything, find new ways to transmit our messages. Never standing still. If you stand still, you die. Yeah? The world goes by, you die. We must never stand still. Be creative, innovative, forward-thinking. Think outside the box, how we can communicate our messages. So this show will get out on the following platform, simulcast if you like. It's on the screen. So of course, we get out live and direct via YouTube under The Motivator Show, as you can see on the screen. Again, we go live and direct via Facebook under The Motivator Show on the screen. We go out live and direct via Instagram under The Motivator Show. Yeah? And of course, we go live and direct audio only via GalaxyAfui.net. And of course, Mixcloud under The Motivator Show. And excerpts will be shown via TikTok. Spread the word. Spread the word. We are never standing still. There'll be other platforms that we will simulcast shortly. Watch this space. But nevertheless, let's move it forward, because we are full of vibe, we're full of energy, we are forward thinking, never giving up, never be directed. We are clear of our path and our direction. Baby. Okay, let's go right into it, shall I? I want to remember and acknowledge these past few transmissions. They've been truly inspirational, yeah? And we're only in March. We're only in March. Can you believe it? The 16th of March, 2024. Okay. Last week, we had a wonderful, inspired young man, Taj, from the African Cooperative Union. Okay. He was very clear of the opportunities in collaborative working, both businesses and individuals coming together in common aim and common purpose. Yeah, I want to give recognition to the African Cooperative Union, working together with common aim and common purpose, and your money is secure. Yeah, money is secure. Underwritten up to £85,000 each. Yeah, you are in control of cooperative unions. Yeah, you are in control of those cooperatives. Collaborative working is the only way forward. Even if you're in business right now, okay, you're a small business, maybe in produce, let's say, and you find other small businesses, yep, of common aim and common purpose, come together in a cooperative, yeah, and let the cooperative buy from the wholesaler or from the producers direct. As a cooperative, collaborative work, you share in the profit, you share in the largesse, if you like. That's the only way forward, collaborative working. I also want to give praise and respect, of course, to Jose of Ubuntu, Generational Wealth, how to build generational wealth. What an inspired African he is. Huh? What an inspired man he is. Truly an example of the creative verve that is the African people, the creative energy that is the African people. Long may he continue his great work. And you will hear from him shortly, yep, in the coming weeks and months here on The Motivator Show. I want to give a quick shout out before I move on to Councillor Evelyn Akoto, that inspired councillor here in South London. Oh yeah, what can we do as a councillor, an elected official? We can hold other parts of public services to account. So I want to give praise and give a thumbs up. There you go, a thumbs up. You see the thumbs up? Oh yeah, there you go. The thumbs up to the Southwark Council Maternity Commission, looking at why is it that our mothers-to-be are going through, too many are going through traumatic experiences and are experiencing above levels of average of trauma cases. I say that with no pride. So the Commission intended to allow both patients and those who work within the NHS to share their stories, share their experiences, and we will then use that experiences as a basis to come up with a series of recommendations to improve the service, right, from beginning to end. Yeah? Oh yeah, oh yeah. The next round of the consultation meetings I'll give live here on The Motivator Show. And lastly, I want to give praise, of course, to my interesting people from Nigeria, Tony Andy, and that wonderful, inspired author, of course, never forgetting Ndidi Ichiwa, okay? Inspired author. Her literary pieces are pieces of masterpiece. They are truly masterpieces, an inspiration that I use to produce these transmissions. So long may Ndidi continue her great work. And of course, Tony Nandi, of the attorney and secretary of the Lower Niger Congress, seeks the revised constitution for Nigeria, so peace and prosperity can come to all communities in Nigeria, and we all want that to happen. Long may they continue their great works. All righty, those are my introductions. Let me now move on to the most important, well, I say the important part. Well, what should I really say here? A part of the show, this part of the show has saved lives because it's changed habit, asks, and many of those listeners have re-evaluated about their health and well-being. Yeah, far too many members of our communities died before their time. Far too many of our communities possess illnesses, yeah, which are avoidable, which are fundamentally lifestyle conditions. They are avoidable conditions. We must do better. Oh yeah, we must do better. As a consequence, as an elected official myself, I've seen the figures and they make for uncomfortable reading. Yeah, truly uncomfortable reading. So it's therefore incumbent upon me, just like Councillor Evelyn Coulter, yeah, to share the key messages with you. Okay, I don't want to frighten you, but it's important to share the key messages with you, and they're pretty basic messages as to how we can improve our general health and well-being. And I want you, those of you who've listened and heard this before, to take these messages on board. Because these messages do not yield for me any personal financial gain. I want to reiterate. It's so necessary to say that. Yeah. What they achieve is the raising of consciousness. That is what they achieve. The raising of consciousness. So I'll go straight into it, shall I? Let me explain why these messages are important. They're very straightforward, simple messages, and they have saved lives already. Okay. So let me just bring this one in. There we go. I ask you to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you consume each day. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Sugar and salt. Sugar is one of those ingredients we add to our food to make it feel better, make us feel better. And we particularly give this to our children who develop the habit to consume sugar on a daily basis. But the problem is, it's the overconsumption of sugar, which is the pain and bane of all of our lives. Across our communities, whether you're from the Caribbean or indeed from the African continent, from the Americas or born here in Britain, as an integral part of our cuisine is sugar. The overconsumption of sugar has led to more than 1 in 2, yeah, in some cases, every family in a given location, one member of that family has diabetes. The causal link between overconsumption of sugar is clear and without doubt. We need to control, if not reduce significantly, the amount of sugar that we consume, either add to our teas and coffees or consume in other food types. It is so important that we review and consider the amount of sugar that we consume. Equally, I ask you to review and consider the amount of salt. Salt is one of those ingredients we add to our food, and the mistaken belief it enhances our food. Habit. That is truly a false impression. It's truly false. We do not need the amount of salt that we regularly consume. The problem here is its effect on our bodies, particularly in hardening of the arteries. Okay, what that does, of course, is encourages the heart to have to pump harder, more vigorously, and as a consequence, raising our blood pressure or hypertension. And each of you, I'm sure, will know a member of your family with either diabetes or hypertension, high blood pressure. And there's a clear causal link between these conditions and our lifestyle, the food that we regularly consume. So I simply ask you to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you consume. If in doubt, you seek out your doctors, your GP, your health professionals' advice. Mine is but general guidance, the general rule of thumb. But it's a pretty good assessment of the current conditions within our community. I equally ask you to consider the amount of carbohydrate that you consume each day. Carbohydrates primarily derived from wheat-based products, or indeed root vegetables such as the potatoes and yams. You see on the screen the wheat is growing, a wonderful looking plant, but you see the pasta, overconsumption is a problem. You see the potatoes, the overconsumption is the problem. You see the yam, yes, the overconsumption is the problem. Whether you're from Africa or from the Caribbean, we recognize these foods, yeah, and we have them as our staple food. But the problem is we overconsume. That is the problem, and our bodies absorb these carbohydrates and stores it, and the effect I'll come to in a few moments. So I simply ask you to consider the amount of carbohydrate that you consume each day. It's one of those foods we consider to be staples, but the experts tell us we should consume no more than a fistful of food per sitting. I repeat, a fistful of food per sitting. I know it's devastating when you see some of the large plates that many of us are exposed to and eat our food from. So we overeat, unfortunately. But of course, the other ingredient, I say not an ingredient, we don't deliberately, he says, add to our food, but it's a part of our cuisine. Here on the screen, you see raw meat. Better if it's raw meat than it's cooked. You can actually see the target which we must remember and be aware, and that is fat. In the meat, you can see it's not the red, that's the meat, but the white is the fat. Unfortunately, this meat is quite fatty. I'm told in some quarters it adds flavor. I say to you that complete nonsense. Complete nonsense. What our bodies believe, if we're over consuming on this fat, that we are eating for a rainy day. What does that mean? Our bodies store it. Yep, I'm going to show you an example of bodies who are storing the fat that we consume every day. It assumes you're overeating in the belief that you're going to encounter famine, a drought, and you will not have food one day. So our bodies believe it has got to store this food, and the fat is an example of it. Yeah? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Many of you I know will recognize this. Of course, here's an example of the impact, which you do not see. This is an example of our arteries, okay? And you can see the blockage, which is a mixture of the fat, the carbohydrates, the sugars and the salt, all solidified. It is solidified. You can see the red corpuscles, which is what carrying the air throughout your body, yeah, within your blood plasma. Oh yeah. There is the problem. The restriction means that the heart has to pump harder in order to get past this restriction. Yep, your extremities, your limbs are suffering because they're not receiving enough oxygen. Your brain potentially is being starved of oxygen because of your arterial blockages. This is what you do. This is direct causal link between what you eat, what you do, and the consequence it has for your body. It is quite devastating in many cases. And the last ingredient I want to give light to, of course, is starch. Starch is one of those pernicious ingredients which is just present in the food. And I'm going to highlight the rice on this occasion. Highlighting rice is a problem because I'm from the Caribbean. I'm, Jamaican. We love our rice and peas. Oh yeah. The problem is we overconsume the rice and peas. Yeah, you see these large plates that particularly us men are given. Overconsumption of rice and peas. I'm going to come to why. But equally, if you're from West Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, oh yeah, I'm going to call you out as well. Yes, the jollof rice. It's the jollof rice. Overconsumption is the problem. Not the jollof rice itself, it's the overconsumption. More than a fistful, more than we actually require per sitting. That is the problem. Okay? It's not the starch itself, it's the overconsumption, which is the problem. And I've given an example here of the other means by which you consume the starch. This is in these pretty little cakes. We like to give ourselves at parties, birthdays, and weddings and other ceremonies. Yeah, we'd love to give these starches to children as treats. The problem is you're stirring up problem for them in the future. That is the problem. So I say to you, I ask you to consider the amount of starch that you consume each day. This is such an important message for you. I need you to hear this message. On the screen, you can now see the impact, the effect of our overconsumption of the sugar and the salt and the fats, the carbohydrates and the starch. Here it is. You see on the stage, you see human beings, just like you and me, with those bloated shoulders, those bloated chests, those bloated abdomens, those bloated thighs, oh yeah, and the bloated buttocks, or indeed bottoms in polite company. This is the causal impact of the overconsumption of those ingredients which are an integral part of our cuisine. So I ask you to consider these words. You can see the direct causal link here in the bar that I reside. The overwhelming majority of women in that ward are obese, fat, yeah, dangerously obese, fat. And we need to do something about this. We need to address our food habits. The experts recommend that we eat far more, of course, of fruits and vegetables. Let me just give light to these wonderful vegetables on the screen that our bodies will use to build itself, to build our immune system, to clear our minds. Yeah. So you see the beetroot, you see the tomatoes, you see the oranges, you see the melons, you see the noriega, you see the pumpkin seed, you see the grapes, yeah, you see the avocado, you see the lemons, you see the corn, you see the tomatoes, yeah, you see the beetroot. This is the food our bodies most crave. This is natural food, untainted food, organic you can. This is the food our bodies crave. You see the pears and the tomatoes, you see the lime, you see the lemon. You see the broccoli, you see the lettuce, yeah? You see the cucumber, the tomatoes I've mentioned, yeah? You see the cherries. This is what our bodies crave for. This our bodies can convert into flesh, into good blood, into a good brain, good eyes, good mouth. It's everything you need is here. This is what our bodies most crave. You see the mushrooms there. This is the food our bodies most crave. You see the almonds, yeah? You see the avocado, you see the sweet corn there, yeah? You see the wonderful onions, yeah? The scallions, if you like. This is what our bodies most crave. Untainted raw foods such as this. This is what our bodies crave. Give your bodies what it needs, and your bodies will take care of you. Many of you be aware that we're more than 70% water. Okay, so it's important that you drink between 2 to 3 liters of water per day. Of course, the foods I've just highlighted all contain water equally, but it's important for you to top up from time to time. You do not want to be insufficient hydration. See the young man drinking his water. See the young lady here smiling after she's had that water. All this doesn't matter if you are not exercising. Exercise is life. I'm going to say it again. Exercise is life. You see the young lady with her weights going pumping up and down, pumping up and down. See her with her weight. You see the mature gentleman, if you like, with his headphones in, and he's running, he's smiling. He knows he's doing good by himself. You see the young lady running up and down those stairs, yeah? That's what you need to do. Exercise your body. Do you sweat? You're raising your heart. That is what our bodies most crave. See the young man with those bulging muscles doing his press up. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That is what we need to do if we want to have a long, healthy life. This is what our bodies most demand. Because human beings, not only should they eat well, they should exercise well. Work your body. Our bodies crave for this type of activity. Inactivity suggests that you're preparing to die. I say again, inactivity suggests that you're preparing to die. These messages would not be complete if I don't remind you it's important to take care of your mental and spiritual health. If in doubt in regards to your mental health, I urge you to seek out professional advice. And if you're a bit coy about seeking out professional advice, well, speak to whoever you most trust. I will trust whoever you most trust and respect will trust and respect you and will enable you to seek out and obtain the professional support you require. Take care of your mental health. But most critically, particularly African people who are truly a spiritual people, I urge you to take care of your spiritual health. Speak to whoever's your spiritual advisor or whatever means you seek to raise and ensure your energy levels, your spiritual energy levels are as high as they can be always. These messages are for you all. These messages are intended to help you to live a longer, healthier lifestyle. Your general health and well-being is our business. Translate our words into action, because ultimately success is ours. For the taking, yours for the taking. Yeah? It's yours for the taking. But most importantly, what I'm really pleased that there are African black people across the country, across Britain, Europe, Africa, and the Caribbean, who understand these messages are important and therefore have responded appropriately. I want to give an example of an organisation that's local to myself, who've come together in common aim and common purpose, understand but we must take responsibility for our general health and well-being. And together we can make the difference. So I want to give a big thumbs up to a local organisation who consist of Africans from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Ghana to Tanzania, from Jamaica, Trinidad, from Britain and beyond. Africans who come together in common aim and common purpose, who hitherto have never cooperated, but pull their resources down to exercise because they understand for them, their families, their loved ones, and their wider community. Set an example how we can collaborate and work together. I'm going to play this video they produced, and I appreciate them, demonstrating their commitment to their general health and well-being. It only takes 2 minutes. Here we go.
Cheese. Famous. Hello, 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 hello. Awe, 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 You get one life on leave. Me self get one life on leave. Why we no go use am gladdy and enjoy the time? Palava no dey finish. Time me no dey wait nobody. Now why I dey try for always get am nice every day and night? This one way we all fend we safe, now nobody own. You wanna get what you want, we go down you belly, now you young. And the balance where you go die left, now all the money on. So why for the pity you say for? If the motor car where you let buy am, buy am. If you see finance where you call it Bilam, Bilam, oh. You meet up woman where you let Yanam, Yanam. And if you let the man na for keep am, want them more. The food where you feel for eat na for eat am, eat am. That fine la pan where you let na for buy am, and tie am more. And if you baby love you back love am, love am. But if you love them all now you na for left am. Want them more, cause nobody know waiting tomorrow all. So every day of my life till I'm old, I fasting enjoyment stay go. Now for land for care for yourself, nobody love you pass your own self. All man they fed for himself, oh. Now why I know they allowed with the other man they pan take me peace away, away. Me joy away, away. Me smile away, away. Oh no, no make nobody take you peace away, away. Me joy away, away. Me smile away, away. Oh no, oh, every day. I see they hustle, they work for the pay. They like na boku on a small you catch. Land for the loose body 110. No to money, no to gently. No more they make motor man and brother. As long as you get waiting, you they eat. Land for the loose body 110. This one way we all fend we safe, now nobody own. You wanna eat what you want, we go down you belly, now you young. And the balance where you go die left, now all the money on. So why for the pity you say for? Now the motor car where you let buy am, buy am. If you see finance where you call it Bilam, Bilam, oh. You meet up woman where you let Yanam, Yanam. And if you let the man na for keep am, want them more. The food where you feel for eat na for eat am, eat am. That fine la pan where you let na for buy am, and tie am more. And if you baby love you back love am, love am. But if you love them all, now you not forever. One time more, cause nobody know waiting tomorrow all. So every day of my life tear all. I fasting enjoyment stay go. Now for land for care for yourself. Nobody love you pass you yourself. All man they fed for himself. Oh. Now why I know they allowed with the other man they can't take me peace away, away, me joy away, away, me smile away, away. Oh no no, no make nobody take you peace away, away, me joy away, away, me smile away, away. Oh no no, away, away,
Oh yeah. Tremendous, huh? Absolutely tremendous. They've come together. They came together in common aim and common purpose, regardless of their ethnic background. They understood that coming together, exercising together, will, I'm going to say this, a family that stays together grows together. Got Nigerians, Ghanaians, you got Jamaicans and Trinidadians, yeah? You got South Africans and Ethiopians, yeah? You got Ghanaians and Grenadians, all working together in common aim and common purpose, recognizing their health and well-being transcends ethnic origin. I say again, their health and well-being transcends their ethnic origin. We can and must work together. Oh yeah. I'm so proud of them. Absolutely proud of them. And I'm aware that there are similar groupings both in London, Manchester, Liverpool. I see them in Coventry. Oh yeah. Long may they continue their outstanding works. Okay. Now, before I go to my theme of today's show, I want to first give a few more shout outs. Now, if you want to communicate with the studio, okay, you can use, and you are on YouTube or Facebook, you've got the chat facility. I can see your messages. I don't mind you communicating with us via the chat facility on YouTube or Facebook. I will see your messages. Or indeed, if you're a recipient of our WhatsApp messages and you are receiving them, you can, of course, send messages to us via WhatsApp as well. That's only if you're already in receipt of our WhatsApp messages. Okay, so that's out of the way. I also want to give a few more shout out, recognition from some great contributors to our past shows. I want to recognize and give a big thumbs up to that wonderful person, that's of course Dr. Carlton Brown, the organizer of the UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference this year for 2024, which will be on the Thursday, the 11th of July. Now, the details of which are available via Eventbrite. Just put in UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference 2024. Okay, so I want to give a big shout out to him, and long may it work continue. But I also want to give a big shout to him because he now has set up a series of business masterclasses. Okay, and I commend these masterclasses to you because they are of the highest caliber. Leading lights from industry and commerce will be intended to give support to aspiring businessmen, businesswomen from our community. So let's a quick shout out that on the 10th of April in Manchester, there'll be a masterclass. On the 18th of April in Birmingham, on the 19th of April in Bristol, and the 3rd of May here in London. Go to Eventbrite and put in the Black Entrepreneurs Conference Business Masterclass 2024, and you can obtain a ticket for a mere £49 for the entire day. It will be outstanding. The highest caliber of entrepreneurs will be there to give you the support you need to expand your business. Okay, so if you are serious about business, this is the place to go for £49. I know you recognize that's an incredibly low figure. It's in partnership with the big banks, big grocers, big consultancies, are all supporting this initiative. I commend the masterclass to you all. That prize you cannot lose, really. You really cannot lose. I also now want to give a quick thumbs up. I mentioned her earlier on. And that's, of course, Ndidi Ishowa and Tony Nyandi of NINAS. I want to give a big shout out to them because they are an important organization who seeks reform in Nigeria so you can bring peace and prosperity to all Nigerians. I want to commend this organization to you as an organization that strives to achieve national unity. Yeah, so we reduce the crime, we reduce the corruption. We ensure that when you pay taxes, it goes into public services. So you can grow Nigeria, or 200 plus million, anticipated $500 billion in only 20 to 30 years' time. It's a country that we all must hope will be successful henceforth. So their website address is www.NINAS Voice, NINAS Voice, VOICE.org. Okay, I commend them to you. Please be a part of that change. We want Nigeria to be successful. And my last quick shout out, if I may, and if I can get the right excerpt up. Okay, I mentioned the Southwark Maternity Commission, but in fact, I won't put that one up because the most recent event has just passed. But I want to put up on the screen one of my most favourite organisations. And many of you be aware that I'm a father. I'm a grandfather now. So and I was a school governor for more than 27 years. Yeah, more than 27 years. And therefore, I've got my focus. We do this. What we're doing now is for our children, for the next generation, to dig deep and firm roots. So they are not only are they capable individuals, they're well-educated, well-adjusted people, but it takes a village to grow a child. Okay. Therefore, I commend to you the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools, or NABS, if they like. Okay. If you're a teacher or you're a parent, or you don't have to be a teacher or parent, just someone who cares and can give up your time for a few hours every week, I recommend contact the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools. We say supplementary schools, could be Saturday school or evening school or some other facility, but it's designed to support our children in their education, social education, cultural education, spiritual education. It's intended to support the next generation. And if you care, please contact them. You've got the website address, www.nabss.org.uk, or email info@nabss.org.uk, or call the Inspired Brother Near on 07958 348 558. Okay? They are an important organisation. We should all be a part of it. We all need to give support to it. And the reason why today's programme is poignantly significant, and it will become apparent to you very, very soon. But ultimately, these shows are child-centred. Yeah? These shows are child-centred. I would emphasise that. But of course, what we're seeking to do is to build community, more cohesive community, more resilient community, healthier community, possible, wealthier community, yeah, really enhanced, heightened community. That's what we're seeking to do. In other words, we are here now, and we want to be part for what we think is better than we encountered when we arrived. That's not too much more, is it? Together, we can make a difference. That's why this is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action. And my success is ours for the taking. Oh yeah. Okay, alright. Now let's get to the meat of today's show. Today's show, is get back over a year or two ago. I inspired entrepreneur, author, teacher, lecturer, and she inspires the forthcoming generation. Let's see if I can get the technology to work without any hiccups. so far. Oh my, oh, she is a glory. She's a empress now. Oh my gosh. Good morning, Joan. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you.
Oh wow, you're looking very well. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Getting
Uh-huh.
ready for work, actually.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. You're going to work. You're going to go out and teach the next generation, support them in their academic, spiritual, and cultural understandings. Oh yeah. Well done, you. Well done. First of all, I'm going to say to you, we're grateful that you could spend a few minutes with us this morning. Okay? We want you to be successful. Your success is our success. Your success is our success. Joan, now many of the listeners and viewers don't know you. Okay, I'm going to ask you before I go into this view, just say a little bit about yourself. Just so they get to know you. Who are you?
That's a
Go ahead.
very good question. Who I am? I am Joan Green. I'm a teacher, mother, an author, and I live in England. I'm from Jamaica, and I've been
Mhm.
teaching for 33 years, going on 34.
As soon as you started speaking, oh, that should be better now. We're back now. Yep, we're back.
Yes,
Yep.
you're back.
Okay.
You're
No,
back.
I noticed the technology. Interesting happened at that point. Why teaching? Why did you choose teaching as your profession?
Well, why did I choose this?
Mhm.
I've been teaching for this long. I chose teaching because I loved it. When I was a little girl from 9 years old, I had my own little school in Jamaica where the parents would give me 50 cents at the time during the summer to teach their children. And it just started there. And I actually created my own name for my school from a Vauxhall car. I saw it parked out of my mother's business place. And I'm like, I'll name my school Vauxhall Primary. So from then, I wanted to be a teacher. When I finished high school, when I finished sixth form, I decided I didn't want to go to teachers college. I did business administration, but at the end of business administration, I went to teachers college. So I think that's my destiny.
Your destiny. I like that. Your destiny. When you were here last, you were promoting a really important piece of work in support of our children, and of course, more importantly, the parents of those children. Just remind us of the title of your book.
All you need to know about 11 plus, preparing
Hmm.
children for grammar school.
Hmm.
It's a guide for parents to make a decision. Do I want to or I do not want to? Because it's a journey that parents and children must be involved. It's not just the children, it's the parents as well.
Hmm.
And it involves a lot of work. I call it a mini GCSE.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Just for the benefit of the audience, the focus is, of course, on parents. Okay. Um, are these parents who are, although already very well educated, and you're just refining their skills, or is it just ordinary parents who may not have had a outstanding education but want to support their children? And
I
why does your
think
book
it's
aim
for
help
both.
them?
Parents who have no idea and parents who do have ideas but still need that reminder of what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll have parents who have been through the journey with one child and maybe there's a big gap and just relapse and don't remember all the things that they need to do to prepare their children. So I think it's for those parents who are not aware and
Uh-huh.
need to be aware, and for
Yes.
those parents who are aware but still need to a reminder as to what they need to do so that they can go through it and prepare their children
Mhm.
successfully
Mhm.
for the journey.
Okay, and you introduced an interesting perspective on this because the last time you were here, there were many parents who questioned whether this book was different from other books that they encountered previously. Okay. What makes your book distinctive?
Well, it's the guide that is given the parents
Hmm.
to help them to make that decision because it's a decision that they need to make with the child. They can't just, I think sometimes children need to be a part of that decision making, because once they start, they'll have the wrong attitude and mindset if they just don't want to do it
Mm-hmm.
and they're being forced. So I think it gear them up to say, okay, this is what it's all about. Do you think it's a journey we can do together? Again, it's about that teamwork that the parents will do with the child. Some children, we parents have to guide our children. They at this stage sometimes can't make decision, or they can't make that decision on their own. So they need us, and sometimes the decision that they make might not be the right one anyway. But at least you give them that opportunity to talk about it, because I think this is a days where parents and their children need to have discussion, not in our days when we said go and do it and we just have to do it without any question asked. So it's good for them to have that conversation. So that's what makes my book different from other books. It's not activity book, it's about guiding parents, and where the parents are not just reading it by themselves, they're reading it along with the children.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Thank you. In other words, it's meant for all parents or all guardians, if you like, okay, who have guardianship over a child, boy or girl. Is there a difference between the genders, particularly this age? Do you think, in terms of the learning and learning styles?
Could you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah, is there a difference between the genders in terms of their learning styles? Is a boy learning different ways to a girl, or do you not see there any differences?
I think it varies. Boys will be boys in many ways, and girls will be girls. You'll have boys who just want to work, and you will have girls who don't want to work. So it varies. The learning styles varies. You'll find boys who do not like English. For me, over the years, I find that there are boys who just can't be bothered with English. They're just mathematically inclined and just want to do maths. Can't bother with the number bit. They don't like writing, really. And then you find some boys who really just love that. So it all depends. Your mic is gone. Your mic, I cannot hear you. Sorry, your mic.
Oh, my mic is okay. Is that any better now? Am I back now?
No, you're not back yet.
No, okay. It will increase momentarily. Don't you worry.
We can't hear you now.
Am I there now? Yes, I can hear you fine. Am I back?
I think the audience cannot hear you either. Very
well. All right, okay. It doesn't need better.
No.
Well, let me make sure that you better now. Any better now?
Tiny bit, but.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
We're back now, are we?
We're back now. Okay.
I've got to look at what's going on there. That's all right. Okay. My last question on this theme, just so we're all clear, mums and dads. Is this meant for mums? Your book meant for mums, or is it meant for dads? Is it meant for granddad, grandmom? Tell us. Who is it really for?
It's meant for parents, the male or female parents. It's parents, so it's not a gender thing. It's just parents.
There you go. So, being a dad myself, I want to give a big shout out to dads. Yeah, you're equally as important, huh?
It's the parents.
There you go.
Moms and dads, they can decide how they do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand you. Don't worry, I do understand. I did need to emphasize that. Again, because of my experience in schools, often dads mistakenly believe that
it is just for females. Just for the mothers to deal with.
Yeah, just for the mothers. Indeed. And dads, you need to get yourself out of that habit, You need to get yourself out of that habit. Dads are equally as important to a child's academic educational development,
That is why it's called a teamwork.
There you go. All right.
Teamwork lets the dream work.
All right. There's the teacher speaking. Now then, I want to come now to the relaunch of your book, and there's particular themes in your relaunch that you've now emphasized. And what I'm going to do, I'll just put it up on the screen. I note that you use particular words to emphasize your message, okay? And you say the power of working with your child. Okay, now that's truly an interesting statement to make. Okay, so the first area is parenting power of the mind. Mhm. What do you mean by that? Parenting power of the mind.
Parents' power of the mind.
Hmm.
As I was just browsing and thinking, I think if parents help to create a positive mindset for their children,
Mm-hmm.
then everything else is likely to fall in place.
Yeah. Okay.
Speak positively over your children. I think that's something now, it's a narrative in our society now. The
Mm-hmm.
narrative is be positive. Be positive. Because if we be negative, then what is it that your child can hold on to?
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to create that positive mindset. I can. And I think that's my thing in my classroom. I can.
Uh-huh.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yet, not yet. I can.
I can.
And I think parents just need to be positive with their children. I can do it. Okay, it's a bit tricky now, but we're going to work through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In other words, and your expression mustn't be one of frustration, and your
No.
voice must not be
Okay,
frustrated.
just give them a pat on the shoulder. It's
There you
okay.
go.
Don't worry, we'll come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we need to walk away and come
Yes.
back.
Yes.
Whatever the situation is, whether it's schoolwork or anything else,
Mhm.
just stop, we'll come back to it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they
I,
need to know that they're not failures.
mhm. Yeah.
Making a mistake is okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree with you. I completely agree. I completely agree. The other word you note here, and interesting this one, maybe impact of support. Hmm.
Right. I'm glad you get to that point.
Yeah.
Impact of support.
Mhm.
If we support our children, it will make a big difference.
Yes.
We can't be too busy to support our children.
Hmm.
And I'm talking about everybody, not just single parent, not just um, a nuclear family, but everybody. We have to support them. Do not leave them by themselves. They'll feel lonely.
Hmm.
They get bored
Hmm.
and they will resist learning.
Right.
I don't want to do it. But
Hmm.
if you're doing it with them, along with them, giving them that support,
Yes.
then it will make a big difference. I believe that. I just sat there and I thought, if parents could just spend that 10, 15, 20 minutes, not a long time, you could start them off with
Hmm.
the schoolwork and come back to them. You
Yes.
could be doing spelling together and
Yes.
you actually pretend that you can't spell it, let them feel good, and
Yes.
then beat you at it. Whilst you're cooking, you're doing the spelling. It's
Yes.
there.
Yes.
All right, which word are we? Okay, competition. Let's spell it. All right. And they give you a word and you give them a word. It's as easy, for me, it's an easy thing, an easy fix to children not wanting to do their homework. If we're doing it in a fun and exciting way, it will make a big difference. And it's not just school homework, but we can create activities that they can enjoy. Use a pasta. Since our bodies don't need the pasta so much, let's use it to do craft.
Yes. Yes. Well said. Well
Your,
said.
your mic is going again. Sorry.
Right. This is interesting. I'm sorry about this on this
Okay, it's
occasion.
all right. You're back. You're back.
We're back. Okay. I'm just going to make an adjustment to our system here. I'm sure it's interesting. It only started when you came on, but never mind. We will plow on and we'll get this right. We'll get this right. Okay. Um, and thank you for that response because it's really important for parents to understand the impact they can have on their children's both academic and, but more importantly, psychological development. Yeah.
I want to say something here as well. That it will bond parents with their children.
Mm,
Rather than going out there to tell people things,
mm,
you become their best friend. They'll want to share it with you. Mom, you know what happened?
yeah.
You know, this happened. They're not going to be scared to actually
Share.
reveal things to you
Yes.
because they're comfortable in their skin. That's my mom, that's my dad. I can speak to them.
Mhm.
Develop that relationship. And the more you work with them, the stronger the bond will be. That's what I
Well
believe.
said. I like that. Well said. I think that's such an important observation. Well said. Well said. The next key word you've used in your media is the identifying factors. I wonder what that means. Identifying factors. Yeah.
Identifying factors that will impact on how children learn and how children develop, the developmental process as well. And three of my factors: one, the family,
Okay.
the home, and I also thought where we live, the location of where we live. Because if we live too far from family members,
Hmm.
then we won't get that support
Yes.
as easily as we want to, especially if we are a single parent as well, and your mom live in Manchester and you live in London.
Hmm.
So location is key, um, um, in terms of what our environment, our location have to offer. You know, the parks we have activities out there. They can go to the park. They can. So those that sort of easy access is also important because children can't just stay in the house. They need to be outside as well.
Yes.
And the family, I can't emphasize how important that is.
Right.
Okay, it takes a village to raise a child.
Mhm.
So the family, the nuclear family is very important. Grandparents,
Hmm.
cousin, auntie, everybody involved, you know, will make a difference.
Take the village to raise a child.
Right.
I
And
understand.
the value system, the home must have some value,
What do you
principles of
mean by
life.
that value system? Explain that. Explain that.
Um, we need to have values in our house. Values. What values do we as a family
Hmm.
embrace?
Okay.
You know, um, certain things a family must have in place for their children, right? What do you believe as a family? Okay, the basic things: being polite, excuse me, thank you. Certain time you need to be in. I'm going into adults now. Certain time you've got to go to bed.
Yes.
Certain things you've got to put in place.
Yes.
For those families who are spiritual and Christian led, we know this is what we believe in. Whatever you believe in, that needs to be
Part.
um, communicated to
Yes. A child. Yes.
the children.
Yes. I understand you.
At the
Identify
table,
that.
what do we do?
Hmm. Yes. And you're consistent, of course. You're
And
consistent.
that's it. Consistency is important. We can't do it today and tomorrow we don't do it
That's right. Yeah.
because it's a learning process.
Yes.
And children live what they learn.
They live what they learn. Say it again, Helen.
Children live what
Live
they
what they
learn.
learn. There you are. It is so true. It has been
It
my experience.
is. It is true. I'm living what my mother taught me over the years.
Yes, indeed. I understand. Wow. Powerful words. Powerful words. And another one of your sayings here, um, supporting your winning child. Oh, yes. All my children are winners. But anyway, go on. Tell us more.
Right. I think you just said it.
Yes.
Every child must be seen as a winner. And that goes back to being the positive mindset we spoke about earlier.
Yes.
Every child must be seen as a winner.
Hmm.
Do not treat one child different from the other within the household, but see your child as a winner. I can do it.
Yes.
Be positive with them as much as possible. We're not going to get it right all the time. We have to accept that, but make that effort.
Yes.
It's something we can change things. There's nothing that we cannot change. If we put our mind to it, it can happen.
Yes. Well said.
Nothing is impossible. If we keep trying and pushing at it, it will happen. So I believe, believe that your child is a winner. If you start thinking, oh, my child can't do this, my child can't do this, my child can't do this, the child will not be able to do it because you already make that decision that your child cannot do it.
Yes.
And I think it's going to take me right through to those children who have challenges like be autistic, ADHD, um, and so on. The best thing, I've worked with so many of them over the years.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing, just be calm with them.
Put
When
them.
they realize that you're calm, so they will calm down, and just give them that loving voice. It's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. Give them
I hear you. I hear you. And a loving voice. I love it.
that loving voice. No,
Yeah.
no, not that stern one. That loving voice, because we all have that voice. We have all different kind of tones that we need to capitalize on
Mhm.
in the right way.
In other words, go back to your earlier point, the impact of support. Yeah, even
Yes,
your voice has an impact
yes.
on the support for our children's psychological and therefore academic development. Another one you're saying here is creating stimulating ideas. Now, this is interesting. Tell us more about why you included that as part of your saying.
Well,
Creating stimulating ideas.
the power of working with your child came out of the fact that at my school, lots of parents will be like, they're not doing the homework. I'm complaining about homework. They're not, and the
Mhm.
reason is, Mister just don't want to do any homework. Um, Time factor, they don't have the time.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, right. And this I'm teaching for a very long time,
Mhm.
very very long time, and this has been one of the biggest um complaint or issue.
Mhm.
Children do not want to do the homework, and sometimes we have parents who don't believe in homework. That's another thing.
Really? Oh
Yes,
wow.
you have parents like, what's
Okay.
homework is for, They don't want to do the homework. They don't encourage the children to do the homework. So I thought, why not try to encourage parents to do that? So the activities that I think parents can do, I thought I've mentioned a few before. It's like structure, have a timetable schedule for everything so
Mm.
that the child is aware this is what we're going to do today, that sort of a way, so they're not, especially those who are autistic, they need a structure that you know that this is what they're going to do. You can't just be impulsive with them.
Mhm.
They need a structure, and if that structure is not there, they're going to lose it. So um I believe that a structure, a little timetable or structure, a schedule of what we do and how we're going to do it. And it's not just sitting at the table and doing work. As I mentioned before, they can be creative using the pasta and the rice, all the things that we're not supposed to eat a lot. We can turn it into an art thing, right? Use it art and craft. And you know what? We did that a lot in Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
As teachers, we had to be creative. We use all the things. Now it's all this health and safety story, but we use the things we have in our houses to to do all of this.
Mhm.
So, oh my goodness, excuse
Oh,
me.
oh, there you go. She's falling off there. She'll be right back.
I'm just
Is
wondering if
it?
my
No,
laptop is going.
that you won't. I need what you're doing that. So of course, what you're going to share with us
Sorry, I'm
is a
sorry. I'm having a little
lifetime
difficulty.
experience as being a teacher.
This is-
The key words that she can apply in her communication to the parents. Parents' power of the mind. Yeah, those are
I'm sorry about that. My laptop
not a
was
problem. Don't worry.
showing
You sort
signal
yourself
of
out.
dying.
I'll talk to the audience. I'll talk to you. What's this audience?
Okay,
So what Joan's been able to highlight is the parent power of the mind. Okay, the impact you have on the child.
yeah.
She's
And
identified impact of the support that you provide to the child. She's highlighted a number of interesting identifying factors that again impact on the child. Okay, and of course, I said it myself, supporting your willing child. Yeah, and the last point you just made, of course, is the creating a stimulating ideas. Okay, um, and she's now described how you create stimulating ideas and let it come from the child perspective. Yeah, I just wanted to, if I may, if you're ready for us now, Joan.
yes.
What about the last one you mentioned? I found this one an interesting one. Nurturing. Hmm. Tell us about nurturing. Yes.
Um, I believe parents. generally are nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
Become particularly mothers. You know, we have to feed the baby. We are connecting. So if we're nurturing, it's showing that you care and you want to protect. Just look at animals; they protect their young always. So we're nurturers. I think that's part of our life journey. We're always nurturing, as well as the fathers, right? We're
I was
nurturing
about to
people.
say,
Yeah, we're nurturing beings. As generally parents are
yeah.
generally nature nurture beings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we always want to protect our children and make sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
So you can't be too busy to support your child.
Indeed.
You have to have that time for them.
Yes. Yes.
We have to find that time, and that is why children are now scouted to do silly things
Mm-hmm.
because parents do not have the time. I have to work. I know we have to work, but find that time to connect with your children. It is so vital. um Coming home from school, I can see some parents on the phone
Mm-hmm.
and not even communicating with the child. How did you do today? What's happening? No, find out. Have that conversation is important. So being a nurturing person, you need to communicate with your children. Can't feel that you're too busy to find that time with your children. When you connect with your children, it gives them that pride. They
Yes.
feel good about it. They feel good. They actually do. I've
Yes.
got children who sometimes complain, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I do speak to the parents,
Yes.
especially if I've got that relationship with them. I'm like, come on, you've got to change this, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So you being a nurturing parent, you create that atmosphere, and then it goes back to bonding.
Yes. Yes.
Everything that I've written in this book, they intertwine.
Mm-hmm.
They're not isolated. And guess what? As I said earlier, they will share their innermost thoughts with them because you've got that relationship. You're nurturing. They
Yes.
know that you care. They
Yes.
know that you protect them, you
Yes.
know. And these are the things children need to feel confident about,
Okay.
you know. Um, I
What
think
we.
it might prevent children going in homes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, as much as possible can. I think it's possible. I think it can work. Do you think it can work? That's
Without a shadow of a doubt. Oh yeah, I've seen evidence. It does work. It is. If you want a well balanced, respectful child, you, the parent, have got to demonstrate that you're well balanced and you're respectful equally. Okay, and they will mirror your behaviour in many ways. That's why the impact of support, the nurturing, those identifying factors. In other words, you don't, particularly with children who are having difficulty studying, you never demonstrate or show frustration. You're always calm, cool, and collected. Oh yeah.
Um, I must say, at the back of my book, I've got some inspirational quotations that
Okay.
I came up with. I'm like, what could I write? And I'm like, yeah. And I
Let's
just want to
share.
share
Yeah.
one that
Yeah.
I thought, do what is right, be a home team player, and build a deeper insight.
Ooh. Say it again, please, louder, so they can hear. Go on.
Do what is right, be a home team player, and build a deeper insight.
Wow. That's
And this
fun.
goes with the nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh
So
yeah, I
I've
get it.
got quite a few in my book. So if
No,
you
give us another
would
one. Give
please,
us another one. Come on. This is your
okay.
lifetime experience you're
Um,
sharing. Come
this one I use in my class all the time.
on.
Drip, drip, drip. A little learning each day will fill a bucket every day.
Okay.
When my children in the classroom, I say, come on, a bit. Do a bit today, you do a bit tomorrow.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes.
And you'll be
Absolutely.
surprised by the end. You're like, did I do that much? And not even just for learn, just for anything we do.
Yes.
Drip, drip,
Yes.
drip. It just a bit. Just put set a bucket and you will see what happens. You're like, oh my God, I need to get the plumber in. Right? You're gonna gain your hello? Speak.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. You're gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Give us one more.
No, we can't hear you.
Please comment.
Connection is bad.
I'm not sure what is happening today. I will get into some connections. Am I back now? Am I back now?
No.
Okay, all right. This end looks fine, I have to say. It's interesting. Never mind. It's something up with our connection we saw today. Never mind. Okay, is that better? Are we back now?
No, you're not back yet.
Oh no, okay, I'm really sorry about this. So yes, we will sort this out for sure. Our connection is not good today. I'm back now with you.
No.
No, still not. Oh dear. That's
Oh, you're back now.
Oh, we're back? Okay.
Yeah, you're
I'm sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, I'm just not sure why we're having that difficulty. Just give us one more of your quotations, your
Okay,
inspired.
children need guidance. Parents, be their best guide.
Ooh. Say again, please. Say again. Say again.
Children need guidance. Parents, be their best guide.
Yeah, absolutely right. Profound, profound, profound. I note in the chat, I've got a listener who says that fantastic advice. I use playful competition with my daughter, and it helps her learning. Playful competition. What do you mean by that,
Fantastic.
Peter? Hmm?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's one of my suggestion in my book as well.
Mm.
The competition. Parents
Mhm.
who have competition with their children. That's just
Playful.
brilliant. Spelling competition,
Yeah.
times table competition, because that's a big issue in the school. The
Yeah.
children do not know their times table, and they're henceforth finding maths work tricky.
Yes. Yes.
So in my book, we say write it, say it, put it somewhere, post it, and use it.
So do that
Write
sequence one
it,
more time.
say
Yeah.
it, post it, use it.
Brilliant. 4. Got that. I may quote you henceforth. Okay. There you are, Joe. I understand you have an event. Thank you for this event coming up on the 17th of March. Can you just tell us about the event?
Okay, I'm having a relaunch of my books, both books actually. Tomorrow, actually, the 17th of March at 3 to 5 p.m. And this will take place in Southeast London, the Nest Community Building and Library, 2 Signet Square, Thamesmead, London, SE2 9FA.
Very quickly. So I'm going to say it again, just very slowly for the audience. I would make sure
Sorry,
heard you.
that's the Jamaican ness in me. Sorry.
So it is tomorrow on the 17th of March
Yes.
from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the location is the Nest, N-E-S-T, Community Building and Library, which is at 2 Signet Square, Cygnet, Signet Square, which is in Thamesmead, and that's London, S for sugar, E2, 9, F for Freddy, A for Apple. There you are, okay? So those of you with your sat navs, you now have the postcode as well, okay? I would commend, if you are able to go along to the relaunch of this book, you'll be amongst inspired learners, inspired teachers like Joan, okay? And it'd be a healthy place for all of you who have children in schools. This is the place to be. Give support to this initiative, okay? Can I just ask you, Joan, I see here that you have a website, okay? Tell us about your website.
Well, what about my website? It's there. You can actually connect with me via my website. Whatever information you need. I do have a Saturday school that I run, so you can register there, and I'll get all the information. At the moment, there are free gifts. I think there's some activities you can do on my website. I shouldn't say activities. There are some resources that you can connect with on my website. But the best thing to do is just send us your details, and we will connect with you.
Good, 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 good. Um, what I'm going to do in the chat, I'm going to place the website details in the chat, and I'll put in the entire string that you quoted on your media here. I'll just put it in the chat now, so that those of you in the chat, and if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can see the details on YouTube and Facebook. And I'm going to read it out in a moment as well, as this is live. This is happening live and direct. I'll just put it in the chat. There you are. It's in the chat now. So the website address, it's it, it's Brighter Tuition, as it sounds, BRIGHTERTUITION, brightertuition.co.uk.
You're going.
Oh, I'm really, oh there. Am I back
You're
yet?
back now. Yes, you're back.
Then it's a / and it's live, the hyphen book hyphen re, then hyphen again launch. Okay, but the details are in the chat. So if you go to YouTube or Facebook, you could see the website details. Okay, and you end your media by saying, "Let us help you."
Thank you. There's a question: would the parent or carer need to have a winning mindset in order to empower the child?
Yes.
That's a very I think if you do not have a winning mindset, if you are not positive and think positively, then what can you pass on to your child?
It is true. Yeah.
I think I'm going to leave it there. What can you pass on to your child? If you're negative, then you pass on something negative. If you're positive, then that will rub off. As we said, children live what they learn.
That's right. Yeah, it is
So,
true. It is true. You know, I know you've got to go, okay, but I might take I might take a call or two. I know you've got to go now, in fact, haven't you? Are you able to take a call or two if I open the line for 5 minutes?
yes.
Yes, you can. Okay, I'm going to open the line because I think it's good. Really give parents the opportunity to call in, and they may have a question or two for you. 'Cause I know, and I encounter many parents who really need to call in. This is true. Okay, they need that professional support outside of the school. Okay, so if you are a parent, guardian, or an interested person in the community and want to better understand how to support our children, sons, daughters, nieces and nephews, or grandchildren, yeah, call in. Joan is many years, I won't quote the decades, unless she wishes to, of course, in education. It's her life work. Okay? And as a consequence, she's built up enormous experience and professionalism in this area. Okay? And we need to hear from such people. Okay? So if you've got a question, and only for 5 minutes, call the studio on this number, 0203 289 6504. I repeat, 0203 289 6504. And I'll take maybe one or two calls if you're quick. What tends to happen, Joan, is that they wait around 10 minutes before the close of the show. That's what they call it. But please, I can impress upon you all, please don't wait. Do not delay. Do not delay, please. Two more questions while they're thinking about this. You described the educational support that you provide to them. Can you share with us some successes? You know, how your children are going to higher education or going to career? Give us some idea of your successes, please.
Well, there's so many. Um, just to start off, this year, because I prepare children for 11 plus and their SATs and so on, and I must say 95% of the children who took the 11 plus examination, they were successful.
How many? 95%.
Yes,
Brilliant.
and it happened the year before and the year before, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing? But and it's just amazing. And I also, with that saying, most of my students will come back and come and support me as well, and actually
Oh,
have um, two, two of three of my former pupils supporting me. They'll come and help me to do soft stuff.
wonderful.
At such the school, they volunteer to come and support, and I'm like, wow. They're like in sixth form.
Mhm.
I've got student. She's a medical doctor.
Mhm.
She's not practicing, but she's actually studying medicine at the moment,
Okay.
and she's always with me. She was
Mhm.
supporting me last year, so now she's gone to uni. Um, Another one is in uni. A lot of them are in uni, and I'm
Right.
like, wow. Those who are in secondary school, some they come back to work with me, not
Oh.
as they come to my lessons because I do have a secondary section,
Mhm.
and they're back with me even though they're at grammar school. They still need that support.
In terms of uni, what are the sort of typical courses? Are they the STEM related courses, science, technology, engineering, and maths, or humanities? What's the tendency, do you think?
Oh, sorry, I don't get your question.
Oh, sorry. Look, in terms of the courses that the students are taking, are they related to the STEM subjects, such as science, technology, engineering, and maths, or generally are they in the humanities, if you find?
Um, in the secondary school, I'm not definitely in the secondary school, but I know about it. But in the secondary school, they've got to choose. The core subjects are maths, English, and sciences, and
Yes,
then everything else work around it.
yes. Okay. It is interesting preparing our children for the jobs of the future, which tend to be around those STEM subjects, sciences, technology, engineering, and maths, being the basis for from the societies henceforth. Uh, and I've always lament when I see a whole group of children going into essentially are humanities related subjects. And whilst they are important, they're not fundamentally the growth areas for jobs and career opportunities. So we've got a bit of a theme at the moment to try and encourage children to go into science and technology, engineering and math, because that's where the technology is going to be the future of our society. But I'm worried about AI. I'm saying worried, but its impact will have on our societies, because it may automate even this teach and learning experience, for example. It's
I think
fascinating.
AI will stop thinking.
I think you're right, don't you? Why? I think you're right, and it is interesting as we discuss this. Um, in preparing for the jobs and careers of the future, it's got to be very much our mindset. And when I speak to youngsters, I always ask the question: what are your subjects at school? And if you go to university, what's your paper? Are you going to university, or are you going to a technical college to acquire go for an apprenticeship, for example, where the employer will pay you to go to take your courses. Where if you go to university, you can end up with a large debt. So it's an interesting
The dynamics.
dilemma. Yeah, it is a dilemma for many youngsters. But here in my borough of Southwark, we're encouraging youngsters to go into apprenticeships because, of course, you need.
You're going. We can't hear you. Speak again.
I'm
You're gone.
encouraging youngsters to go into
And we're not
apprenticeships.
hearing you. Your connection is gone again.
It's gone again.
Yeah.
I don't understand
But
why.
you're back. You're back.
I'm back. It's perfectly anyway. Well, we have to work out what's going on here at the moment. But more importantly, it really is important to prepare those youngsters for the jobs of the future, and therefore have them focus on those aspects of the economy to which there's potential growth. So technology, we are going to be increasingly a technological society. We are, of course, but even more so into the future, and therefore those jobs which are purely administrative are often going to be replaced by machines because they're purely administrative. Machines can cope quite well. I don't know. What's your perception of the future society and how and what are the subjects, therefore, we should encourage our children to go into? you have a view on this?
What's my view? The way things are going, maybe I should not speak because I believe in the apprenticeship.
Mhm.
Yes, children sometimes go off to uni, do all this love the courses, get their degree, and come back nothing to do, and they can't use what they have acquired. So I really believe in the apprenticeship as well. So it should give them choices as to what do I want to do, where do I want to go, and the end result. I really believe in the apprenticeship, especially as well for those children who are not so academically inclined. It gives them a chance to move on, because you don't have to be doing all this maths and all those subjects to do well.
Yes, it's true. It's interesting how you say that. And what I've found is that apprenticeships have many levels. Okay, uh, so it's for persons of
But yeah, yes.
all academic profiles. It's really important to emphasise that.
Mm.
And of course, you can be in your mid-30s and 50s and also take a career change and become an apprentice these days.
Mm.
And you can go from level 1 up to level 5 apprenticeship levels. Okay, so it is possible. It is possible. So I did emphasise that. And now I see that finally, but my other guest has arrived. Okay, he's here. Only did for a quick 2 minute crossover. I know, Joan, you've got to go because you've got to run your classes. I'm going to bring my other guest into the studio. Oh, good morning, Troy. Good to hear.
Hi, Martin.
Oh,
Hi,
I'm
John.
worried about you for a moment
Hello,
there.
hi, Troy.
No, the train wasn't running, so I had to get the bus, and that makes
Okay.
the journey a bit
Not
unpredictable.
a problem. Don't worry. You arrive. Now you've not met each other previously. Joan is a teacher, an exceptional teacher who has produced a wonderful book, which I hope you might want to stock. And more importantly, she's taken a little time out of her usual day. She
Yeah.
should be with children right now, but she's here with us today to share her experience and her profession. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll get you both together soon. Okay.
All right.
But Troy, you are just tell the audience a little bit about your bookshop and why the bookshop exists. Go ahead.
So hi everyone. My name is Troy Nyango. I own a black bookstore in Peckham. It's called Lolwe Books, and we specialize in books by black authors. This is a space that I found to be necessary after walking around in bookstores in London. And apart from New Beacon Books in up in North London, I couldn't find so many spaces where I could just walk in and find books by black authors. The Waterstones and the Foyles, they have like small corners and they barely know anything about the books. So I moved here from Kenya 6 years ago, and I already had like bookstore experience. I was like, oh, why shouldn't I set up a space like this? So that's how the idea of the bookstore came about.
Wonderful, wonderful.
You're gone again.
Am I going again?
Yeah,
I can hear you fine.
can't hear you.
You can't hear me either. Right, okay. I'm sorry about that. It's happened today. I'm not sure why it's happening. Let's check another system. My system appears to be fine this time, but am I returned?
No, you're not back yet.
No, not returned. I'm sorry about this. And we're just going to check the system. Now we're doing something like
You're back. You're
Yeah.
back. You're
Yeah,
back.
that's all right.
That's fine. Okay, let's just make an adjustment. Thank you for that. Thank you. Joan, what I'm going to do, I know you've got your classes, okay? I want to thank you for joining us, and I will put you in touch with Troy and share your book with him, and so he can retail it through his outlet. But I want to thank you, Joan, for the work that you do. The difference you will make to children's lives will mean that you're making a difference to the whole community's life. I want to thank you on behalf of the community for your lifetime work. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And looking forward to meeting you, Troy.
All right. Looking forward to meeting you too, John.
Okay, bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just very conscious. Her children were waiting for her to go
Yeah.
to the classes. So now you arrive, it's fine.
All right.
But thank you for joining us. And
Thank you so much.
some slight technical difficulty in terms of some of the connection, but we'll sort that out momentarily.
All right.
I wanted to, with yourself, and we've only got maybe 15, 20 minutes, if that, okay?
Yeah.
Just go over the thing. So you started this bookshop, and I was very curious when we met that this was an example of a entrepreneur with a roots in Kenya, and you have a shop in Kenya,
Yeah.
and you now also have a bookshop here in London, and you've explained why.
Yeah.
But you're also an author, okay? You've got a wonderful profile.
Yeah.
Tell the audience a little bit about your where you've come from in terms of your academic development and the books you produce. And those interesting short stories, a few of them I've read overnight. Come on, I'll let you go.
Thank you so much. So,
Okay.
my background is a bit of a mix of everything. So I went to law school for my undergrad, and then while I was in law school, just because I've always been a reader, I started writing short stories. And I submitted one for a prize, and I didn't win the prize, but they were like, "Oh, we really like the quality of your writing, especially for someone who's very young. Would you be interested in going for a master's in creative writing?" And I was like, "Okay, but I won't be able to afford it." And they were like, "No, if you get in, we'll be able to pay for everything." So I applied to the University of East Anglia, which is very prestigious and has a very low acceptance rate. And I was like, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to get in just because I'm still very young." And I remember a week after my application, they called me and they were like, "Oh, are you available for an interview?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Tomorrow?" And I said, "Sure." And I remember having that interview with my younger sister, who now runs the bookstore back home. And she was like, "You're not even prepared for this interview. How are you going to do this?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just going to tell them about my writing and my love for books." And that's all I spoke about. And after that, they sent me an email that I'd been accepted, and I got a fully funded scholarship, and that's how I moved to England in 2018. So when I finished that, then during the pandemic, I moved back home, and then I got into SOAS again for my second master's in African Studies. And while I was home, I was working on a short story collection, which was picked up by two publishers and is now out. It's called For Water Butterflies Without Their Wings, and it's a collection of 12 short stories that deal with loss, longing, love, and loneliness. So that's kind of been my journey outside the bookstore business. Yeah.
You went through that so quickly. Okay, it's fine. I've just put your website address in the chat. So if you're viewing us via YouTube or Facebook, I've just put lowwaybooks.com in the chat, so you can go to Troy's website. So I do want to say that. I just want you to tell us a little bit about some of the books. So which of those books stand out most for you? I'm going to share some of my experience in a moment, but you tell us first of all. You're the author.
I mean, the thing about books, having a bookstore and working in a bookstore is you kind of get to know what people like to read, and you kind of get to know. And having a small bookstore like this allows me to, talk to people and understand why they love certain books and why they read certain books. So one of the most popular books here is called Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, and it documents 250 years of Ghanaian history, Ghanaian and American history, and it kind of shows the connection between Africa and the American diaspora, through slavery and through colonialism.
Yes.
It's basically a story of two sisters who are split as a result of slavery, and one moves to America and one stays in Ghana, and how all their families across the 250 years, live dealing with whiteness and colonialism and racism and all of that. Another author that's really popular here is Caleb Azuma Nelson. Yeah, his stories are set in southeast England, so open water, and he has another one called Small Worlds. So I'm happy to see that you're reading that as well. Yeah, Small Worlds, brilliant novels. They deal with love, they deal with black love, they deal with young people.
Yes.
He just understands young people really well. He understands blackness, he understands music, he understands everything he's writing about. His prose is very lyrical and just extraordinary.
Yes.
Another book that's really popular is Galum Another by Bernardine Evaristo. And this was the first book by a black woman author to win the Man Booker Prize, so that's a very prestigious. And this is the history of, around, I'd say, 12 women throughout the history of England and how they're connected. So some of them are grandmothers, some of them are sisters, some of them have just newly arrived from Africa or the Caribbean, and some of them have been here. They were born and raised. Some are part of the Windrush generation. Some of them are just newly immigrated. So how their lives intersect, how they meet each other, and yeah. So I'd say those are like the three really popular, some of the really popular titles in the bookstore.
So just some clear. So they are tending to be sort of fiction contemporary styles,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a science fiction fan. Does I don't know. Does that not feature? Do we not have science fiction, African science fiction writers? I'm looking for them. Huh?
We do have, just looking at it, we do have Octavia Butler in the store. So we do have some fantasy. We do, like, we have books across all genres. We have nonfiction as well. There's a book here that, people really love this book. It's called The Sex Lives of African Women.
Oh
And
wow. Okay.
yeah, and
Yes.
it's nonfiction, and it's such a good book just because it deconstructs all the stigma and all the stereotypes that we have around sex and sexuality,
Yes.
especially when it comes to African women. So that, even that we stop. There's a new book called Where We Come From that just was released. It's by a Black British author, and it traces the history of rap, and uses that to trace migration and just Black British identity within the UK. So we have a variety of all books. We have children books as well. We have poetry. We have drama. We have books
Can
for
I
young
ask you,
adults.
please, if I may, just ask you to tell us about a few children's book authors that you might give light to? I know you're in the store now, so you can look around. You can.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm just looking here, and we have a book called "There's Rice at Home" by Mayowa Precious, and that's a Nigerian British author. And it's a
Just
very,
repeat the name. Sorry, just repeat the name.
it's called "There Is Rice at Home."
Right at home, and the name of
Right,
the author.
there is rice at home. If I
Right.
can just get it.
And the name of the author. Okay, he's gone to get the book. He's actually in the bookstore, so
Yeah.
we can. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
So there is rice at home.
Oh,
And
wow.
the interesting thing about this book is it's a children's book, but it's available in different languages. So at the
Oh.
store right now, we have it in Kiswahili, and there's Patois, and there's Creole, and there's Yoruba. So, if you want your child to grow up also reading books in languages that you're familiar with or that, reflect your cultural background as well, then this is like a very good book to get your child. So, there is rice at home.
And the name of the author? The name of the author?
Is Mayowa Precious Agbabiaka.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, audience, you've seen that? Brilliant.
Yeah. We have books like Sulwe by Lupita Nyong'o, which deals with, children just dealing with their dark skin and,
Yes.
self-acceptance and all of that. We
Uh-huh.
have a very popular title is called Hair Love, which teaches Black children to love their hair as it grows.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we do have a variety of titles for children as well. And we do have fantasy series, Children of Blood and Bone, the Gilded Ones, for like people between the age of 13 to 17, just very young adult fantasy, kind of just teenagers, seeing themselves in fantasy and not just thinking
Absolutely.
fantasy and science fiction is a preserve of white authors and stuff like that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well said. And being a local politician, do you have any political books by chance?
Yes, we do. We do have political books. We have natives. We have Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. We have, we have Nelson Mandela's very big biography. We have Barack Obama's work. We have there's just so much.
Yes.
Basically, we have everything. We have everything.
Keep saying it, because I've been stimulated even more so. And it is interesting, just speaking to you, and how excited you are to quote those titles,
Yeah.
You need to tell people how they can find you. Where in Peckham, here in London, are you based?
So we're inside Holdron's Arcade, just on Rye Lane. So Holdron's Arcade on Rye Lane. But if you go to our website, yes, you can. Thank you for sharing that. You can just find us. We are open from Thursday to Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we're always here. If you want to just drop in and have a conversation about books as well, don't feel the pressure that you have to buy the books. Just come in, let's talk about books. I'm always happy to talk to people about books. If you want to be introduced to authors who you haven't been introduced to before, I'm always happy to do that and just talk to people about that.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I'm going to give out the address again. So it's Norway Books at Unit 7 in Holdrum Arcade at Arthur Holdrum for those who are audio only. It is HOLDRONS, Holdrum Arcade.
I think your sound is breaking again.
Okay. Yes, I'm sure we haven't had a problem this morning.
Yeah.
Am I back now?
No, not yet.
Okay. Right, I'm not sure what caused it at the moment.
Yeah.
What about now?
It's better, but it's still not fully back.
Oh, perfect. I'm sorry about this. My system says it's fine at the moment. So, never mind. Is that better now?
No.
No, still don't think so. Okay. It'll get better. Whilst I'll keep talking until this resolves.
Yeah, it's back now.
It's back now. Okay. So I won't give out the address. It's Holdrum.
Oh. I think we lost you. Hello.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Yeah, I lost you for a bit.
Okay, all right. I'm going to keep trying. So the address to find your bookshop, Lowway Books, it's 135A Rye Lane,
Yeah.
RYE Rye Lane, and that's Peckham. That's London. S for sugar, E15 4 S for sugar, T for Tommy. Okay, and that's in Holdrum Arcade. Now then. I see that there's a telephone number and you have a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp
Yes.
details. If I give out your telephone number, which number would you like about? The mobile number?
Yeah, the first one, the mobile number.
Okay. So the telephone number we want to speak with Troy, it's 07354 116 416. You also have a Facebook page, I assume under Lowway Books, that's right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're on Twitter, again under the same name, Instagram, and of course on WhatsApp as well, I assume under this mobile number.
Yeah.
And you're typically open on Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Friday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also Saturday and Sunday at the same time. Oh, long hours for you. Long hours, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I've only a few more minutes now. Then.
Yeah.
I mentioned politics. I mentioned science fiction. What about cookery books? The women in cookery books. Do you have cookery books in your store?
At the moment, we don't have any cookbooks, but we are definitely keen on bringing them in very soon. I've already placed an order for Zoe Adjonios, who is a Ghanaian British writer, and then there's a Caribbean vegan cookbook that I already placed an order for, so they'll be coming soon to the store. Yeah.
Good. When they come in, then we can promote them for you. We want. This is the destination because it's a curious fact that your bookshop, despite the fact that Peckham, or indeed the borough that you reside in, Southwark, has the largest West African community in the country and a very sizable Caribbean community in the country. Okay. As a proportion of the overall population, Africans are very well represented. Curiously, in Peckham, which is very much the centre of our community, you are the only bookshop run by an African person.
Yeah. I was so, like, I remember when I came here and I was looking around and I was like, this is not, there has to be somebody. And I kept asking everyone, and I kept walking around and being like, there has to be somebody. And even within London, there's only New Beacon Books, and there's I think Roundtable Books in Brixton, and there's not so many And there's a bookstore I love, but it's in Brighton. It's a black-owned, woman-owned bookstore called Afrori Books, and it's in Brighton. So if you're ever in Brighton, go to Afrori Books. They've been very supportive throughout the journey. When I was starting out, they've been giving me advice on what to do and how to go about the bookstore business in the UK. So it's just been like them being very supportive, and I hope that if anyone is listening here from Brighton, if you need a bookstore to go to, then Afrori Books is like a good place to go. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for that recommendation. So the fact that you are the sole bookshop in the centre of the borough,
Yeah.
in a borough with the highest African population in the country,
Yeah.
is most telling. So we have to give you the support.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate how supportive you have been so far, Councillor. Like, you've been coming to the bookstore, you bought books, you've been very encouraging, you've been very motivating. So I really appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. And we want to continue to give you promotion, and hopefully we will continue to expand the range of books you have and the number of books. So yours is both an in-person, you can come in and choose, and they can buy online through your website.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I put the website details in the chat. Okay. So it's lowewaybooks.com.
Yes.
That's right. Good. The name Lolwe, had it a meaning? Does it have a meaning?
Yes. So so I was born around Lake Victoria, and growing up we all used to call it Namlolwe. And then I went to school and I was told, no, it's called Lake Victoria. And I was like, who is Victoria? And apparently,
well said.
So apparently it had been discovered and gifted to Queen Victoria. And I was like, how do you discover something that my ancestors have been living around? So for me, naming it Lolwe is like an act of reclamation. It's like,
Absolutely.
this is what we call this lake. It's not, and it's such a beautiful, because Lolwe means endless. When my ancestors first settled there, they couldn't see the end of the water body. So they were like, oh, this is a lake with no end. And so for me, anything that communicates endlessness, anything that communicates living beyond just me, I'd like for this bookstore to live beyond me. I'd like everything that I do around Lolwe to just continue even when I'm gone. In 100 years, we need to build Black structures and Black institutions that outlast individuals. We need to build spaces that, in 300 years, in 500 years, people will still be talking about them. And so for me, just the name being sentimental, but also being very, practical for me, it all just came together, and that's how Lolwe Books came about.
Well said.
Yeah.
I say that because you said you're quite right. How can you discover something that's been there for thousands of years?
Exactly.
Whew.
Exactly. My
Anyway,
great-grandparents were fishing in it, and then you come and discover it and name it Victoria. Yeah.
Thank you. Look, I've got to close now, but we may have to do this again, and there's many other questions I had for you, but it's fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
It's an introduction
Thank
to
you.
An African bookshop in the middle of the largest African population in the country. Okay, we should give support to this bookshop, right, and see it thrive. Okay. You can go online and buy online under Lolwe Books, and I'll spell it for those who are audio only, which is LOLWEBOOKS, LolweBooks.com. Or please, he's a nice young man, very pleasant personality, very well educated, well informed. Okay, you display the passion for those literary work. Just a moment ago, you noticed the way you displayed it for five. Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh yeah. Very nice young man. Come in and talk to him about the book that you want, or an author that you can't get hold of. He might be able to track that author down for you. Okay, that's right. And of course, he's based in the middle of the borough of Southwark, which is in Peckham. Okay, and I'm going to give that one more time whilst he's here. I just want to make sure he understands that we want to give him all the support he needs. The address is on the screen. It's Unit 7, Holdrum Arcade, which is 135A Rye Lane in Peckham, and postcode is S for sugar E15 4ST. And if you have any difficulty, I'll give you the email address. Email address for Troy is uk@lowwaybooks.com, and telephone number 07354 116 416. And he, of course, being a young man, he has a internet presence. He's both on Facebook, he's on X or Twitter if you like, Instagram, and of course on WhatsApp as well. You can find him on WhatsApp as well. Please give him the support he aptly deserves.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Troy. We'll
Yeah.
keep in touch. We'll keep in touch, and we'll continue to promote your good works. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you. I really appreciate this.
Good day to you then. Good day. Good day.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye. Well, that just goes to show, wasn't that really a stimulating experience? You know, if there's any doubt about the ambition that exists within the community, that should have been done away with, completely done away with. We've only got a few minutes left of the show. If we're to move forward, we've got to move forward together. The African Cooperative Union is a demonstration of that collective work. Ubuntu Generational Wealth and further examples of that collective work. Okay. Councillor Ivana Koto of the Southwark Maternity Commission is a further example of that collective work. And I could go on and on and on. Yeah. But those were the three most recent presenters here on the Motivator Show. But if you're to go forward, we've got to go forward together. Okay. We cannot forget our children, because if we don't show the love for our children, okay, they may find other ways to find love. And there's a saying, an African saying, that if you don't show the love for your child, the child might burn the village to feel your love, to feel your warmth. Yes, burn the village just to feel the warmth. So we've got to ensure that we're supporting the generation behind us. Okay. But together we can all make the difference. Together we can all make the difference. So before I leave you today, I did want to give a further shout out to a few other of our prior guests who I believe should be given recognition. And first of all, I want to give a big shout out to a prior guest, Dwayne Reed, the business growth consultant. Okay, of course, he's happy to speak to any one of you who want to or thinking about a business idea or in business and needs some support. He's always willing to give you that support. His email address is team@Dwayne Reed, DWAINREID, DwayneReed.com, or mobile 07931 403 992. I commend his work to you all. He's most certainly an outstanding human being. Okay, and often such people do not receive the recognition that they aptly deserve. And lastly, I did want to give a big shout out to all those who are engaged and supporting those who are affected by the Home Office hostile environment, and we recognise it by using the term Windrush. I know Windrush had a very strong African Caribbean feel to it, but it applies to all Africans, wherever you are on the continent, who have a right to be in Britain. And if in doubt, please seek out legal support. And you recall that there was a desire here to raise money for a judicial review of a case. Apparently, this show and other shows contributing to raising sufficient cash so that judicial review will now go forward, and we'll have that team back again in a few weeks' time. But if you require legal advice, please do not hesitate. I'll first of all give you an email address. Use this email address, which is info@Windrush Legal Advice Clinic. I say again, Windrush Legal Advice Clinic. .com. info@windrushlegaladviceclinic.com, or you can call them on 01902 382 542. I repeat, if you need advice to resolve your immigration status, should be affected by the Home Office hostile environment and you classify yourself as being within the Windrush generation, it's 01902 382 542. Okay, I commend this organisation's work to you. They are performing outstandingly. Okay. And lastly, it is now time for me to leave. But remember, a family that stays together grows together. You are not alone. Seek out help and advice always. Never suffer in silence. So this is The Motivator. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. And I say to you, to the next strong, I remain The Motivator. I hope that those of you who listen to us via GalaxyFreeWeek.net enjoy your day. There you are. I'm now going to play for you the intro video. Please listen carefully and learn. Okay? You just encountered two outstanding examples of our community. Okay? And the impact we as a community can have on the wider community. So I commend to you both Joan Green, the teacher, mother, teacher, lecturer, Saturday school, supplementary school provider, and of course Troy, owner of bookshop both here, Kenya, and other places. Yeah, you note his passion was quite outstanding. So I commend to you that work. I commend to you your own work, because I know you will make the difference. Okay? Be not afraid to ask for help. Be not afraid to ask for help, because there's help there in abundance. Oh, I should just mention, of course, Jose of Ubuntu Generational Wealth, get that right. An important organisation. We'll have them back shortly, because of course there are many strands of work that has come out of the Abundance Symposium held recently in Kingston, Jamaica, that we need to follow up on, and you need to better understand so you can use it in your everyday lives. So, I remain to you, The Motivator, because success is ours for the taking. There you go. Until the next strong. Here we go.
The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10. African, Caribbean writers speak out. Brighter Tuition. The power of working with your child. By the best-selling author, Joan Green. CEO of Brighter Tuition. Lulwe Books, from Kenya to Britain, Nairobi to Peckham here in London. Troy Onyango, CEO of Lulwe Books. In 2016, he won the inaugural Nyanza Literary Festival prize for his short story, For What Are Butterflies Without Their Wings? Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1986, Wole Soyinka from Nigeria, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986, becoming the first African laureate. He was honoured who, in a wide cultural perspective and with a poetic overtone, fashioned the drama of existence. Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1988, Naguib Mahfouz from Egypt, received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1988 for being an author who, through works rich in nuance, now clear-sightedly realistic, now evocatively ambiguous, has formed an Arabian narrative art that applies to all mankind. Nobel Prize winner for Literature 1991, Nadine Gordimer from South Africa, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature 1991. The Nobel Committee recognized her, who through her magnificent epic writing has, in the words of Alfred Nobel, been of very great benefit to humanity. Desmond Elliott Prize 2018. Winner Derek Owusu is a writer, poet, podcaster from North London. In 2016, he joined the multi-award-winning literature podcast Mostly Lit. He's also collated and edited, contributed to Safe, on Black British Men Reclaiming Space. He is the author of That Reminds Me, which won the Desmond Elliott Prize. Kantika Prize for African Literature 2023. Kadibitswe Malutsi has just been announced as the winner of the 2023 Kantika Prize for African Literature for her story entitled Mata Taloa. The Motivator Show. Success is ours for the taking. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Follow us on Facebook. Give us the thumbs up and share with your family and friends. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there too. The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8